Welcome to today's analysis and market review. At first, I want to say a big congratulations to the people that was able to take all this setup with me from our previous analysis where I talked about EURUSD selling right from the opening market and immediate market open. You can see market started selling. So for the people that's able to take this trade with me, a big congratulations to them. Same as gold as well. We also have a very beautiful sell on gold as well as GBPUSD. So on today's analysis, what are we expecting next for EURUSD Gold and GBPUSD to do next? Right. So that's what we are going to be covering in today's video. First, how was I able to come up with this beautiful sell? I think I've dropped some video on the channel explaining this, but let me explain that all over again. This was how I started the story. So starting from the daily time frame, you can actually see this was the area I was selling, but this was how the whole story started. I explained in some of the video in past where I talked about if you look at this structure here, we have seen EURUSD very, very bullish, creating series of higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high. We had another high low here, then we have a new higher high. But if you look at this higher high we put in right here around 1.200, you actually see that this higher high here were actually expecting a pullback maybe to somewhere around this region. Then we continue with a new higher high. But instead, market did something very different. It took out the low that gave the higher high. I know when it comes to market structure, the low that break the previous structure to the upside, that low should never be taken out for that structure to remain in an uptrend. And this particular low in this area here was actually taken out. We can see we broke below it, giving us our market structure shift, which is our change of character. So here we are seeing something different from what you have seen from this bullish move, which is signaling to us that we might likely be seeing more sell rise from this point. And when a change of character happens like this, we don't just get in the trade to sell. We actually have to wait for market to pull into a very decent zone. Like, for example, I like market to pull into the Fibonacci golden zone or the O.T.E zone. Now, if I draw from this high here all the way to this low, that price gave us a new structure. So if I extend it to the front, you can actually see this pullback here was into the Fibonacci O.T.E zone right from here. And that was the confirmation I needed. And actually, when market came into this place, we actually had a very beautiful sell from somewhere here, which if you watch the last video, you're going to see all this. And again, market jumped to this side and also came back to test this area of further more sales. All right. So now I'm going to delete Fibonacci and explain more further. And in the previous video as well, I also talked about a channel which I was trading off to give you more confirmation that this price we actually going to sell. Now, if I connect this guy here to this particular one here, then I'm going to extend it like that. I'm going to just connect it after like this. Now, if I drag this guy forward like this, you're going to see, you see that this was the touch here, this is the touch here. Now we had a touch here. You can actually see this was a touch here. And last week as well, only what it did was what price was trading around that area, which I am telling you that I'm expecting straight sell right from that zone, not expecting any buy. You can see that's actually happened. Now, when it comes to trading structure, we had external structure and internal structure. At this very point, the internal structure was taken. You can actually see this is what a change of character from the internal structure perspective. So this is our change of character. This is actually an internal change of character. That's why I noted it as IMSS, that internal market structure shift. So, and when you see this, actually, I'm still expecting price to dump all the way back here. Then we might now look for a pullback again. All right, using the Fibonacci golden zone or the O.T.E zone around this point, then we continue selling all the way further. Now, if you actually follow this channel here too as well, following this channel and following this change of character we had there, you actually going to see that here is going to be a new market structure break, all right? A break of structure. So this is going to be our break of structure following this change of character we had here. This is what I'm talking about. Following this change of character we had here. So this is going to be our break of structure following this change of character. So, and in line with this channel, we are also seeing here to our well. So I'm going to be expecting the sell into this place. But before that, here is to make my level target. So once price gets here, we should pay into this place, then this can trigger more jump to the downside, taking profit of this 100% treatment then and the space for the extension. So this is all I have on EURUSD, and you can actually see the setup is being as well as we have been analyzing it. So going to the second pair on my watch list here, which is GBPUSD. So on GBPUSD right here in front of me, what we actually have on GBPUSD here is kind of different from what we saw on EURUSD. Like for example, EURUSD, if I go back to the daily time frame here now, EURUSD actually gave us a change of character, taking out its previous low, confirming to us that we're going to be having more sell. But if you look at it on GBPUSD here, this was the low here. This low was never taken out. Instead, market reversed to the Fibonacci O.T.E zone and we trace from there. So now if I use the Fibonacci here from this low here all the way to this high, then I'm going to extend it. So you can actually see that this was the Fibonacci O.T.E zone and price reacted from here back up here and we are dumping from here. So structurally on GBPUSD, we are still bullish, all right? We are still bullish, but because once EURUSD is trending, GBPUSD is correlated to EURUSD. It will always follow what EURUSD is doing. So that is why I remain bullish on GBPUSD, and we can actually see as well GBP as well reacted from a very valid supply zone, which you can actually see right here. That is where GBPUSD is reacting from, and that was why I said GBP is going to be selling. I can actually see the sell is actually playing very perfectly. But now, if I delete the Fibonacci as well, delete the zone. Now, looking at this very low here, right? So if I now mark this structure, this particular pullback we had here, back to this extension here, we actually say that this area here is also in line with the Fibonacci holding zone. Let me put that in place. So if I put the Fibonacci all the way from this high to this low here, you actually see that price came into the Fibonacci O.T.E zone right here and reacting from there. So that is one point where I'm selling. And I'm selling all the way to this area we had here, taking my total profit, then wait for a confirmation. So I'm going for this extension of this Fibonacci right here. You actually see that that will be able to give us the change of character after we having a break of structure up here. So this will give us the change character, but we are here to have that. This is what just we are expecting. So depending on what market should or that is going to get a confirmation. But going back to the 4-inch time frame, structurally, I'm still bearish on GBPUSD, and I'm still particularly in this last trade I entered right from this area here. So expecting to take my profit at this level target here, which is also in line. If I zoom out this very area here, you see that this is the morning star candlestick pattern, right? So we have the red candle, we have an indicator candle, then we have the bullish and going candle following. So the high of this indicator candle is actually where I'm targeting, also which I believe price should be able to dip into that place. So probably going to be taking my profit targets of this zone and see what next GBPUSD is going to do, giving us most confirmation. So actually what I'm waiting for this coming week is what? A dump into here first, then likely at space for a pullback to any value zone, then we have a confirmation. Then I what? Once we have something like this kind of confirmation I'll be waiting for, a confirmation like this now continue selling all the way down. So this is what I am expecting on GBPUSD. So before we continue with this analysis, if you are finding value in this video, smash that subscribe button. It doesn't take you anything, just click on that subscribe button. If you are not paying any money, just smash that subscribe button now and click on the notification bell to always stay alerted when I drop awesome analysis like this. And as well, if you're looking for the best perform in the industry to trade with right now, check on the next house and use my link in the description to sign up with them. All right. So now let's go back to the video. The last pair on my watch list today is gold. Now, in the last video, I talked about this head and shoulder pattern where we have the left shoulder here, we have the head here, and the right shoulder here. And this was the neckline I drew out straight like this. And I stated in that video last week that what I'll be expecting on this head and shoulder pattern. So I stated in that video that what I'll be expecting on this head and shoulder pattern is at the time price was trading around somewhere here. I said I'm expecting a dump to the downside, then a pullback into here, get a confirmation, then I sell. But if you look at it here, after price dumped here, went down all the way down here, then came back and never gave a confirmation. Instead, went back to this high and swept this high. But the interesting part about this is why price came down back again, confirming that they were actually going to sell. This was the trend line I draw, right? This was the neckline. I could see that that was the area price we tested. But at the time, I didn't get in this trade. I just want to be more clear, looking at what gold is going to do. And later on, I get an entry on gold at this very particular point. Take a risk reward of 1 to this and take my full TP. And I dropped a video during the week that I'll be expecting a breakdown this support area, this yellow zone, because I know that this zone is the previous support can actually reverse the market. I said I would like price to break below it, the negative test of it that I get in. Then I mark out the structure on the 30 minutes time frame, so you can actually see it here. Waiting for price after this dump here, waiting for this guy to pump into here. But that didn't happen. Instead, just consolidated here a little bit and drop further. And later on Friday, gave this entry confirmation. I got in this and what we're actually selling presently in this trade at the moment. But the interesting part here is price actually reversed from here, very close to this place, and reversed almost back to entry, then back in profit again. Well, if you actually check this well, if I go to the 15 minutes time frame, you actually see that this was a Fibonacci trade. This was like a pull up, a break of structure here, Now, if I use this finger up here to this low here, I extend this for like this, you will actually see that price only traded to the Fibonacci extension and come back into the Fibonacci golden zone. Like I told you earlier, this is one of the zones you want to watch out for anytime you are interested in anticipating the trade. I can actually see we are back here and presently kind of selling, which I'm expecting price to open next week, dump down here for TP. Then I wait for what gold is going to do next. Now, what is my anticipation for what gold is going to do next? Now I'm going to take it back to the 1 inch time frame. So on the 1 inch time frame, like I said, this was the previous support. And looking at this, I want price to take out this low here, taking liquidity of this sweep. Once we get a sweep, what I'm going to be expecting is form of something like this, a drop down here, then a pullback to somewhere here to actually retest this previous support that is now becoming resistance. Once that is retested, then I can aspire for a further sell. Then we can now go more shorter on gold. This is actually what I am expecting for the coming week. So you want to stay patient and wait for the setup to come to you. You don't want to rush the trade. I'm also going to take it to the time now and confirm something to you on the weekly time frame. You actually see that last week opened and cleared the previous week high. So this was it. Clear off this high. And immediately clear off this high. What happened? Price started dumping immediately. And which I'm expecting for a previous week high to be taken like this. Obviously, the low is also going to be taken. Like if you look, for example, in this scenario here, this was the high of this previous week. So it cleared it out. All right, and what also clear out the low. So the first one that was cleared out was the low, and after I cleared out the low, is also what go for the high and clear it out. So now last week also did the same thing, clear out this high. So which I expecting it to clear out this low, but there was not enough pressure in the market. It was very close clearing it out for market close here. But what I'm expecting is I'm expecting this coming week to open somewhere here and take out this low first. Even if it wants to reverse, I'm expecting a clear of this low first. Then if it get confirmation, we cannot say we want to buy. But actually, I am not seeing that happen. What I'm seeing happen instead is once this low is taken out, we likely just see a pullback to somewhere here. So this is what I'm saying. After this low here, which is around 4500, 4500 is taken, which is around 12,500 per coin, is taken out here, this low, then we actually going to see some form of something like this, maybe a pullback into a year. So once you can have that pullback, then market is just going to what continue dumping all the way to the downside. So this is what I'm actually seeing on O.T.E as well. And this is my analysis for this week. And if you enjoyed this analysis and you want more of analysis like this, you want to smash that subscribe button, drop a like, and don't forget to click on the notification bell so you don't stay outdated when I drop awesome content like this. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.